Hi, so I'm Len Grant, and I'm an urban sketcher, and here we are in sunny Withington. A beautiful day for it. It's a little bit windy, my board keeps flapping up and down. I started my artistic career when I was 30. In fact, on the 1st of January, on the year I was 30, I decided that in 6 months' time I would set myself up as a freelance photographer. I hated my job. At the time, I was kind of a salesperson. I was working for a small advertising agency. I was wearing a suit and I had a company car, which was all very nice, but I kind of hated what I was doing. It just wasn't me at all. I thought I would follow my passion for a few months and see what happens. And then 35 years later, I'm still doing that. Photography was a hobby that became a profession, and my personal projects in photography have included books and exhibitions, quite often about social issues, undocumented migrant families, and other about people who are suffering with addiction issues and things like that. One of the things that I make is a zine for Withington. And because this area has recently been regenerated, this is going to be the kind of centre spread of the zine. I would normally work in my sketchbook. I wanted to do something bigger because it's going to be, as I say, it's going to be quite prominent in the zine. For 30 odd years I was a photographer, a freelance photographer in Manchester, and I guess my theme there was the regeneration of Manchester and Salford, and I covered a lot of that, made books and exhibitions. The first thing I did was the building of the arena and then the Bridgewater Hall, and I've covered New Islington and East Manchester. And now I'm drawing. I guess some of the time I'm revisiting those places, but the city's always changing, you know, so there's always, as we see here, there's always something new. I've lived in Withington for over 30 years, but my drawing has kind of been quite close to home, close enough that I can cycle to. So I made a book about Rusholme a few years ago, and then during lockdown or between lockdowns I made a book about Burton Road, which is just near here. And then my third one was about the Northern Quarter, and I'm just completing one about Chorlton. After that, I'm not quite sure. It depends how far I want to cycle, really, to do my sketching. Being an urban sketcher, you're kind of part of a local community of urban sketchers, but there's also a huge international community who you interact with online. So I've just been to what's called the Barcelona Sketch Fest. I delivered a workshop there about how to draw people, which is a bit ironic because I don't think I can draw people. I think there are some people who are naturally very talented, not just at drawing, at creative things. And then for other people, it comes down to kind of putting in the graft and practicing. And I know that if I draw a lot, I feel as if my drawings are improving. And people say that they can't draw. And I dispute that. I think if you can write your name, you can draw, but you just have to practice a lot at it. This is sketchbook number 64 in 13 years. I quite often look back on sketchbooks 1 and 2. Sometimes you think you haven't improved at all, but actually, yeah, things have got better.
Now, I read in your book that you mentioned a little bit about imposter syndrome.
Yeah, every day. I think a lot of creative people suffer with imposter syndrome. They kind of feel that they shouldn't be doing it, other people should be doing it. What right do they have to be being creative? And particularly because I've never done any higher education creative subjects. Back in the day I did business studies at Polytechnic, which actually as a freelancer kind of has come in useful.
See, I do think that looks like the handwriting of an artist, though, going back
think?
to what you said before. My handwriting definitely.
I always never very keen on my own handwriting, but there you are, that's imposter syndrome.
Are you recognised a lot?
Apparently I am, yeah. Yesterday I was sat outside the cycle shop in Chorlton, and this guy just walked past and he said, "Hi Len," and carried on walking. Didn't know him from Adam, but that was quite funny. The yellow seems to be a bit of a trademark now, and also the yellow lace. And look, I made a sticker of myself with the yellow coat on. Every city, everywhere changes. Some change faster than others, and some change for the better, and some change for the worse. I was sitting in Chorlton, and this woman came up to me and she said, "It's not the same as it used to be, you know." And of course it's not. I like to think I have a positive outlook on most things. And yeah, we've got to, because the alternative is a bit sad, really. As a documentary photographer, freelance documentary photographer, I was always kind of the observer. I wouldn't necessarily have an opinion or put my opinion forward about a particular thing that was happening.
So do you think you see yourself as more of an artist or a documenter?
Well, we're going back to imposter syndrome, aren't we? I should just call myself an artist and have done. But then that's quite a big word. And also artists don't get paid very much, so it's probably best not to call yourself an artist. I work from home, and we've converted the loft, which when I was a photographer I called it my office, and now that I sketch, I've renamed it my studio. I just need my sketchbook and my pencil case and my tin of paints, and that's it. I was invited by Withington Walls to design a mural nearly 3 years ago now. I don't have any experience at all about using spray cans and spray paint and what have you. So I worked in collaboration with the wonderful Oscar with a K. And what was kind of sad about it was that weekend my mum died. And it always reminds me of that weekend. My mum would have loved to have seen it. She really supported me in my artwork. And it was a real shame that she never got to see it. But yeah, so kind of happy, sad moments. Hi. Those are the guys who I drew here a few minutes ago. I decided I want to try and cover this area today, and quite often I start not with a pencil but with a little blue coloured pencil, just to get some features in and what I call construction lines, and then I go in with a black pen, and then I'll go on over that with watercolour. I kind of like street furniture, so I quite often will put traffic lights around, lampposts, and they kind of give scale to the piece as well. So if I've got this big traffic light going on here, that kind of leads you into the rest of it as well. For about 2 years actually, I kind of sat on street corners or in cafes and bars to capture some of the essence of the Northern Quarter, which I think is kind of trendiest, hippest area of Manchester. So I look totally out of place, obviously. But the sketchbooks are really nice because I can do them at my own pace. I can do them to fit in with my commission work. They also bring in a revenue as well when they get sold. Storytelling has been a big part of what I do in photography and in drawing, and also including people. If you look at my photographs, even if it's a building site, it's photographs of people on the building site. People are interested in people.